Have you ever felt like life has dealt you an unfair hand? Like you've been betrayed by the very people you should have been able to trust? Today, we're diving into a story that starts with jealousy and heartbreak but ends with one of the most powerful displays of forgiveness ever told. This is the story of Joseph and his colorful coat. Imagine a young man named Joseph, the favorite son of his father, Jacob. To show his affection, Jacob gives Joseph a stunning multicolored coat. It was beautiful, a symbol of love, but to his 11 older brothers, it was a glaring sign of favoritism. Their jealousy wasn't just about the coat. Joseph also had dreams, vivid dreams from God, showing his family bowing down to him. He shared these dreams, perhaps a bit naively, and the simmering resentment in his brothers' hearts boiled over into pure hatred. One day, while tending their flocks far from home, the brothers saw their chance. They saw Joseph approaching in the distance, wearing that very coat. Their dark thoughts turned into a wicked plan. They stripped him of his beautiful coat, threw him into a dry pit, and ignored his desperate pleas for mercy. Can you imagine the terror and confusion he must have felt? Betrayed, abandoned, and left for dead by his own flesh and blood. But they didn't leave him in the pit. Instead, they sold him as a slave to a passing caravan of traders heading to Egypt. To cover their tracks, they dipped his precious coat in animal blood and presented it to their devastated father, Jacob, letting him believe his beloved son had been killed by a wild beast. Jacob's grief was inconsolable, a wound that would fester for over 2 decades. Meanwhile, in Egypt, Joseph's life was a roller coaster of highs and lows. Despite being a slave in the house of Potiphar, a high-ranking Egyptian official, Joseph's integrity and wisdom, blessed by God, earned him great respect. He was put in charge of the entire household. Things were looking up. But then, another trial. Potiphar's wife falsely accused him, and Joseph was thrown into prison. Back to the bottom. From favorite son to pit to trusted servant to prisoner. It seemed like his dreams were nothing but a cruel joke. Yet even in the darkness of the dungeon, Joseph didn't lose faith. God was still with him. He used his God-given ability to interpret dreams for his fellow prisoners, including Pharaoh's own cupbearer and baker. 2 years passed. Joseph was forgotten. But then Pharaoh, the most powerful man in the world, was troubled by dreams that no one could decipher. The cupbearer, finally remembering the young Hebrew from prison, mentioned Joseph. Brought before Pharaoh, Joseph, guided by God, interpreted the dreams. 7 years of incredible abundance would be followed by 7 years of devastating famine. He didn't just interpret. He offered a solution, a plan to save the entire nation. Impressed by his wisdom, Pharaoh elevated Joseph from a prisoner to the second most powerful man in all of Egypt. He was put in charge of storing grain during the good years to prepare for the bad. The dream he had as a boy was starting to take shape in a way no one could have predicted. When the famine struck, it was severe, affecting all the surrounding lands, including the land of Canaan where Joseph's family lived. Desperate for food, Jacob sent his sons, the same brothers who had sold Joseph to Egypt to buy grain. They came and stood before the powerful Egyptian governor, bowing low, completely unaware that they were bowing to the very brother they had discarded years ago. Joseph recognized them instantly, but they had no idea. His heart must have been a storm of emotions. Anger, pain, but also a deep yearning for his family. He tested them, wanting to see if their hearts had changed. He saw their remorse, their guilt over what they had done, and their genuine care for their youngest brother, Benjamin. Finally, unable to contain himself any longer, he sent everyone out of the room and revealed himself. "I am Joseph," he cried. "Is my father still alive?" His brothers were speechless, terrified. They expected retribution, punishment for their terrible crime. But what Joseph did next is the heart of this entire story. Through his tears, he said, "Do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." What incredible grace. He saw God's hand in every part of his journey, the pit, the slavery. The prison, all of it, was part of a divine plan to save his family and countless others. He forgave them completely, embraced them, and brought his entire family to live with him in Egypt, reuniting with his beloved father Jacob after 22 long years. Joseph's story teaches us that even in our darkest moments, when we feel betrayed and forgotten, there can be a greater purpose at play. It's a powerful reminder that forgiveness has the power to heal the deepest wounds, and that faith can turn a story of tragedy into one of ultimate triumph and redemption. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey. If this story moved you, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories like this. We'll see you next time.